Hello, Fairfield Stags fans. Welcome to our first edition of From the Director's Desk. My name is JJ Duke, and joining me is Athletics Director Paul Schlickmann. And Paul, this is going to be the first of what we expect a periodical amount of chats catching up on things around Fairfield athletics. So let's get right into it. First sports season, the fall season under your regime. Not a bad way to get things going.
Pretty good start, yeah. We're thrilled with the fall we had on a number of fronts. From a competitive perspective, we won 3 MAC championships. I believe it's the first time since 1999 that we've had 3 conference championships in any one season. So that has been a spectacular wave of positive energy that we've experienced from a campus perspective, from a department perspective. Credit the coaches and the student athletes. For those 3 teams, they had great runs, each in their own right, and really proud of them and what they've accomplished. And the result of that, from a competitive standpoint, is that we're sitting in first place in the MAC Commissioner's Cup standings. So we're pretty good start, and it was really fun to be a part of it and to come in and have that happen right out of the chute.
Absolutely, and 2 of those championships, obviously field hockey winning down in Monmouth, but regular season titles for both men's soccer, volleyball hosting obviously as well. And that must have brought a special extra sort of pride, knowing that Fairfield team's winning, but also winning in front of their own fans.
The atmosphere in Alumni Hall was spectacular, and credit our staff for doing a great job of hosting the event, and a marketing team for getting the fans there. But our volleyball team's been on an incredible run for 3 seasons, 3 straight MAC championships, 40-plus straight conference wins, and competing at a very high level. And I was incredibly impressed all along with the quality of that team, their maturity, their expectations, and how they competed throughout the year. And they endured some injuries to some of their better players, and still peaked at the right time and got it done. And then went down to Texas in the NCAA tournament, and I thought competed and acquitted themselves really well. And so really proud of everything they did. Going back to the first one we won, field hockey, so that they had their ups and downs throughout the course of the season, but they figured it out, and they figured out, again, how to compete at their highest level at the right time. Beat Monmouth twice, one on our home field earlier in the year, and then incredibly competitive atmosphere down at Monmouth for the conference championship, and stepped right up. Monmouth was ranked for most of the year, and so to beat them twice and then to beat them on their home field for the conference championship was great, and a great confidence builder for those kids. And men's soccer, right in the middle of those in terms of the timing, I thought they did an incredible job of kind of continually building and getting better and better with each passing game, and I was able to see most of their home games, and so they were dialed in, and they became more dialed in with each passing game. And we had an amazing atmosphere, for the regular season finale to win the conference championship regular season here, and then the two playoff games here, record student turnouts and storming the field, and just a great atmosphere for our students and our campus, and a great experience for the kids as well, which is at the end of the day what it's all about.
And something definitely that's going to carry over as well into the winter season, with both basketball teams getting underway as well. Now, moving away from the courts and the fields of play a little bit, there's a lot that's been happening behind the scenes that maybe not as many people know about a little bit. Still sticking with athletics, improvement in facilities is definitely something that's going to be not only happening in the present, but evolving, coming for the future. Tell us a little bit about some of the projects happening.
We're creating a fueling station down in our strength and conditioning area, taking a portion of that, and that's a big thing that's really important in terms of the focus of the NCAA and in Division I these days, to have a focus on student athlete well-being and the student athlete experience. So providing as much positive nutrition, not only educationally but in terms of supplements, as we can to them is a big deal. So we're going to create a fueling station where they can get access to quality supplements and snacks, on a regular basis after they do their workouts. And so I think that'll be a great addition and a great enhancement for them. Helps all 450 student athletes. We met the other day and we're meeting again this afternoon to finalize some refurbishment, renovation plans for our academic center that I think will greatly enhance the functionality, the newness of our academic center, again, in an effort to positively impact the daily experiences of all our student athletes. And so when you talk about well-being and you talk about the academic side of the house, 2 key components of trying to provide our athletes with the best experience we can, and so we're focusing on those 2 right out of the chute, and again trying to impact as many people as we can in a positive way.
And also, in addition to that, as the student athletes are going to look forward to those two new facilities or refurbishing of those facilities. One has already been completed. That's a new golf studio, which I know the golf teams are going to be very big on now, because all seasons they can go inside and they can continue to refine their game.
It's indicative, I think, of what we're capable of as a department and institutionally. And one thing that's become abundantly clear to me in a short period of time is the passion of our alumni network and how extraordinarily generous they are, and how much they want to help see our students succeed. And so we were very fortunate to have some very generous benefactors help us create this studio, and it is an incredible benefit for a golf team at our level in the Northeast to have that opportunity for those men and women to train in on a regular basis. So it puts us in a different category, and to have that coupled with the access that we have now with Brookline Country Club, just as a microcosm of what we want to accomplish with each of our programs, in terms of trying to provide them with the infrastructure to compete regularly for championships, to have them have the best resources to develop on a daily basis. Those two things set our golf programs apart, and will not only help us develop the kids who are in the program, but help us recruit the best and the brightest future forward. And that's a model for us to keep in mind and aspire to for all of our programs. We want to have a championship caliber experience for all of our programs and all of our athletes, and that's our goal.
Absolutely. Well, now kind of turning focus to your first couple of months on the job, and in fact the first couple of days on the job, I really want to touch on. You're meeting with practically, and correct me if I'm wrong, every varsity team here, introducing yourself, kind of establishing that first kind of conversation. Why was that so important for you?
Well, I think it's something that I believe in very deeply, and it certainly has been something that I've always believed in terms of my career and my progression in athletic administration. And as you move up the ladder in terms of leadership roles and get to the athletics director chair, the thing that is the most important, and that is providing a positive experience for your student athletes and making sure you're in tune to them and what's going on a daily basis and really dialed into that. It becomes harder to stay in tune to that, given the responsibilities that you have. So there's kind of an inherent competing interest. So you really have to kind of check yourself on a daily basis and make sure that you really are staying in tune to that. So it's very important to me to do that. And I've learned in 7 years at Central, when I was the AD there, that I became even more in tune to how important that is, and how important it is for our student athletes to feel like they know the AD, and the AD knows them and their program, and he or she is visible and accessible, and to make every program feel like they're an integral part of the team and part of the department. And it's important to them, it's important to me, and I wanted to really hit that right out of the chute. And it started paying dividends right away. Frankly, I remember getting out of my car on day one, and I talked to 3 teams before I even went in my office. The benefit of that was, by the end of that day, I was already waving to and saying hello to some kids on teams that I had met with that morning. So it started to create that sense of familiarity and unity and camaraderie, I think, right out of the chute. And at the end of the day, it's what it's all about. And so I think it was mutually beneficial. I know it meant a lot to me.
Well, you talked about players supporting each other within the community. I know you're a man that's big on community, and not just only here within the Fairfield University circle, but elsewhere, inside or outside Fairfield County, and getting out to the people as well. I know you put down numbers and goals that you hope that our student athletes can get out to serve the community. Can you tell us a little bit about what that plan was and how is it going so far?
There's a couple of layers to that. I believe in it from a personal standpoint, a philosophical standpoint, that it's important for young men and women to learn how to give back and participate in community service endeavors. I think it's really important to their personal development and as part of being part of an educational environment and part of their educational experience. So I really believe that's important. Obviously, at a place like Fairfield, it is a significant portion of the core mission. I mean, it really is. It is part of who we are, is men and women providing service for others. And so it is important that we as an athletics department foster that mission and try and adhere to that. So there's a very real institutional aspect to it in terms of making sure we are doing our part, and in terms of the visibility that we have and the leadership roles that are inherent in our student athletes. And I think it's important for us to take a lead role and be visible in that. At the same time, I think it's important for us to integrate in those endeavors with the general student body and other members of campus, and integrate in the community. So there's a give and get back component, there's a personal development component, there's a town gown component. So it's so beneficial on multiple levels that it makes so much sense for us to do it. And I think our athletes and our coaches have responded with gusto and then some. This fall alone, I think we're pushing 2,000 hours of community service, which is extraordinary. And there's multiple events that have been incredibly meaningful and visible for us. And I would venture to say with conviction that the impact that our student athletes and our coaches have on those whose lives they're touching by virtue of being associated with those events is equal to what they're getting out of it. And so it's mutually beneficial, and something we really want to continue to place emphasis on and do a great job with, because, again, it's important on so many levels.
Quickly to kind of wrap it up, we're into the winter break right now. Obviously, the holidays are upon us, but that doesn't mean that Fairfield Athletics is taking a break, because there are a few home contests as well to highlight. Coming up, Old Dominion for men's basketball is going to be on December 17th. The women will be back home shortly after the new year, and I know a big event that always happens that's very look forward to is the Kids Day Out game, which is going to be shortly after the new year against Monmouth. So touch a little bit about that, and how important are those days going to be to keep the sport going all year long?
Well, you're right. There's very little pockets of downtime in our area of campus, our area of the world. But that keeps us hopping. That keeps us energized. That keeps us rolling. We've been really focusing like a laser that December 17th game, men's basketball at Alumni Hall. Obviously, very small number of games we continue to play at Alumni, with most of our games being at Webster Bank. So we really want to try and get a great crowd there. We've made it a point to make it a first responder day and honor those individuals who do such a great job in the community, and so that's a big part of it. And we've had a number of youth groups that we're focusing on. We're working very closely, as we have throughout the fall, and we'll continue to with FUSA and our SAC to try and collaborate and get students engaged and get them to the events. And certainly this one, it happens during the middle of exams, so hopefully they'll see it as a type of study break. But we just really want to create a great atmosphere, and we saw what it can do in the volleyball tournament and the incredible atmosphere that can be created in Alumni Hall. We want to try and create that for our basketball team on that date, and obviously continue to do that for the women as well. And the Kids Out Day is an important one thematically, but also, get some fans there for our women's program as well.
I know they're going to be looking forward to that one, hearing a lot of young voices in the crowd.
It's always a fun day. It's always a fun day.
Well, Paul, thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to chat with us, and this is going to be a fun series that we're going to be having.
I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully it's a way to get some information out to our friends and Stag's family, and we look forward to doing it as well.
Absolutely. And also from everyone here at the Fairfield University Athletics Department, we'd like to wish you a very happy holiday period, a very safe and happy new year, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you in 2018. So until then, go Stags.